News stories of the week. Time to find out once again with Megan Olson and News of the Week on the Al Travis Show.
Lucky to have her on. Megan's News in Review. She takes top stories that are tweeted, retweeted, or whatever they call it anymore, and we discuss. Megan, I can't imagine anything rises above anything that didn't happen a week ago, right? It's just offshoot stories of the shooting.
Yeah,
shootings.
pretty much. I mean, more details are coming out about these political assassinations. It was Representative Melissa Hortman, Speaker Emeritus of the Minnesota House. She was slain along with her husband and her dog. We've got Senator Hoffman, who is still in critical condition at the hospital. His wife has been a little bit more vocal on socials and in talking to the media, but everything is still about these political assassinations and what's coming out about them.
Couple things we know that maybe not everybody. John Hoffman got a hold of me, Senator Hoffman, day before yesterday, in the evening. First time he contacted us, obviously, since that had happened. I also know another friend that he has texts. So still in intensive care, as I understand it. And we're not going back and forth a ton. He's being very sarcastic with me. God love him. But not a lot. And what was weird, which makes sense, the things you learn, he hadn't had his phone since then because the FBI got it to, see if there's any stuff in there.
Yeah.
Like, here I am sending texts on a regular basis. How you doing, John? Like an idiot.
Talking to the FBI.
Well, yeah. And then I texted it. They must think I'm an idiot. He gets shot on Saturday, and Sunday I sent out my regular reminder. Hey, John. And I said, I know you got a lot going on, but I don't want you to think I'm not inviting you. You're there if you want it, because I had no idea sorry. FBI's got to go. Who's that knucklehead? I mean, so he is well enough to send texts. I don't know what that means. I have no inside track. I love the guy. Nothing more than that. This we do know. It was released, their funeral announcement. I'll just read it as it sits here. Governor Tim Walz announced that Melissa and Mark Hortman will lie in state on Friday, the 27th. That would be this Friday. They'll be joined by their golden retriever, Gilbert. She is going to be one of the first women, fewer than 20 Minnesotans to ever lie in state at the Capitol. That'll be from 12 to 5. Private funeral will be held the next day for family.
There is public viewing, I think, from 12 to noon.
Noon to 5.
Or noon to 5.
Okay.
There'll be public viewing. So if folks couldn't make it to the candlelight vigil last week, this is, another opportunity.
Yeah. Do you know, and I'm not trying to put you on that, I would no idea who's in charge of this. I thoroughly believe Hortman should lay in state at the Capitol. I'm for this 100%. Husband, I'm for it. Who makes that idea? And I say this only in that my father passed Wednesday, and the family has to make all the decisions, right? You just got to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Who contacts the Hortman family, and I presume the son and daughter, by the way, Capitol's available. Who makes that call?
I think it is the governor and the governor's staff,
And they contact them, by the way, what are your plans? We're thinking Saturday. Well, can we do it Friday at our place? I don't know how that works.
Yeah. And the logistics of it, I'm honestly shocked that the logistics are, I guess it's been a week, but it still feels very quick to me that all of this is, maybe it's just because it's my own unsettled feeling about everything that happened, but.
I want to talk to you about that as well. It seems quick. John Hoffman got his phone back yesterday, and yet they're going to be burying people on Saturday. It seems like this investigation, and I don't know what else. I don't know what all you've got to do with the Hortmans. I don't. But it seems very fast. It does to me as well.
And on that subject too, we heard that there was a break-in at the Hortman's house soon, right after all of this happened. Someone pried off one of the boarded up panes and went inside the home. Apparently nothing was taken, but that was a small blip on the radar. I think it was 6 days ago, and we haven't heard anything else about that since.
That story is so wild. Some people are driving saying, what are you talking about? Literally after the police went into their house and did the investigation and fingerprints or, did the whole CSI thing, they boarded it all up. You got the plywood on, they closed it up.
Active, crime scene, still want to preserve it. Yeah.
They said they did their thing. And then 2 days later, it's pried open. Somebody got inside. They supposedly had cameras up, but didn't catch the guy in the camera. And the family says, doesn't look like anything was taken. Are you just a sicko weirdo that wants to see the scene, or?
And that's kind of what has been painted is it's just, oh, maybe, crime of opportunity, as they say. I don't know, vandals, they go and this is like a common occurrence in Minnesota. That's kind of the buzz that I'm hearing. But I think it's crazy that no other details have come out about this. We're not looking for that suspect at large, at least not from the news that I've consumed. It's a little fishy to me. I think we should be paying a little bit more attention to it, but it's kind of getting squashed in the news of everything coming out about this Vance Walker guy. They searched his house, and obviously he's getting prosecuted, and that has definitely taken up most of the media attention right now.
Let me throw this at you. Again, I've been using people are going to say, I'll stop saying this. If this happens in Phoenix, Arizona, right? You find out on a Saturday morning this happened in Phoenix. We'd all be sitting there, wow, that sucks. What's going on there? And it would bother some of us if you have any feelings whatsoever. But then we would have gone on with our lives, talk about the parades that were going on Saturday. Those parades were squashed. I don't remember what it was called now, No Kings or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Boom. We would have been talking about that and not this. This happens in Minnesota, so now Minnesotans, obviously it's our number one thing, and it has. Fine. I used in my life, I knew a lot of these people. I knew Hoffman, the other senators and reps. You're kind of in that ballgame because I know you're politically minded. How did it hit you when you got up Saturday, whatever time, and start finding out this had happened? I mean, you know that these are people to you.
Yeah.
They're not just,
and that's the good distinction is like for folks like us that are kind of tied in, we, pay attention to politics. We know these people, we're kind of semi-running in their circles. It hits a lot different than your average Minnesotan and this is kind of all the news stories that we're seeing is all the other, state reps and state senators coming out and saying like, we're not people to the average Minnesotan. Like we're elevated, we're on this platform where it's like, we're an elected official, but there's no like humanizing aspect to it. And so for me, I guess it was just kind of the shock, and I'm still in disbelief that this happened. It just seems like a really crazy thing. And I even did some research. I'm like, does this happen often? Are other state lawmakers in other states, like, are they politically assassinated? And the last time this happened was 2015. So it's been 10 years. I think that was in South or North Carolina. Before that was 2008. Like this is
this stuff because
everyday thing.
I presume you're on that phone or tablet of yours all day long. When this hits you, was that your kid, you people do, is that your first instinct to dive and get on? I don't know. The one I got was what is it? Watch Minnesota? No, I already watched it.
Minnesota Crime Watch is the first place I saw it too.
But I'm not a crime watch. I'm not ripping him. If they're fine, be fine. Get on it. I hadn't followed them. I'm not a follower kind of guy. But someone sent me, said, look at this. Did you see this? And I go on there and it's like, holy hen, I'm following them now, by the way. Yeah. Is that what you did, is scour all your Twitter
initially
people?
The initial report is maybe at a senator's house. And I'm like, okay, like that's gotta be fake. I was so quick to discount it, but I still obviously was, trying to do some research. I'm like, is more news coming out yet? Nothing had come out. I was really quick to just kind of push that away and say, oh, there's no way. Like that just doesn't happen. And that contributed kind of to the shock factor of this is a very, very crazy thing. And
well, you're on that stuff a lot. Let me go to break first, but noodle is, that's old term, noodle is while we're in the break. The Crime Watch Minnesota, Minneapolis, whatever it is, obviously had this much earlier than the Channel 9s or the 5s, and I'm not ripping them. They've got journalistic standards. We must have this verified, right? I get it. Where do you stand with your age group and the fact you use so much of the internet to find out information? That was out, I'm going a half hour, 40 minutes, maybe longer before the news told us, yes, it was true. I want to talk to you about that whole use of X and these other things.
I'll noodle it on the break. I'm going to use that phrase.
It's a great phrase. Not all old phrases are bad phrases. You noodle that. I'll be back after this.
All the special interests are represented in St. Paul. But who speaks for you? Center of the American Experiment does. Our policy fellows dig into the tough issues that matter to you and offer common sense solutions on education, taxes, crime, and energy. American Experiment is the trusted, nonpartisan voice of Minnesotans like you. We are working every day to make Minnesota a better, safer, more prosperous place. We are American Experiment. Go to americanexperiment.org to learn more.
Achieving your financial goals requires individual planning and a comprehensive approach. At Midwest Money Management, our mission is to provide you with the knowledge, tools, and confidence to feel comfortable financially today and secure about tomorrow. Learn more at MidwestMoneyManagement.com. That's MidwestMoneyManagement.com.
Securities offered through JW Cole Financial Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through JW Cole Advisors Inc. Midwest Money Management and JW Cole Financial Inc. and JW Cole Advisors Inc. are unaffiliated entities.
Don't need to ask him his opinion more than once. Al Travis on the Al Travis Show.
And we've got the noodling Megan in with the news and review. Megan, when the Donald Trump shooting happened, again, I'm not a guy on my phone a lot, but the X went crazy, and so then literally you could see. Well, everybody had a phone, so there's instantly like, look at this version. You could tell something big happened well before you're getting the inside skinny. This happened in Minneapolis with Crime Watch, whatever the thing's called, an hour. I mean, they had so much lead. How do you sit with the internet and the ability to do that? That they could have been just as wrong, I suppose, and we would have, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, that is the primary way I get my news is truly Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. And it was funny that morning. I had texted my dad saying, hey, I'm really glad you're up at the cabin. Here's what's happening in the Twin Cities. And he's like, that wasn't in the Minnesota Star Tribune this morning. And it just goes to show the generational different ways of consuming the news. I mean, I live on my phone. I live on Twitter. I was feverishly refreshing all day long. I follow all the local news outlets and, every hour we're getting little tidbits of new news.
But when you say that, you get something like that first thing from Crime Watch. Do you then wait before you believe anything until you personally can get it verified again? When I saw the 3 or 4 different photos of the Trump going down, then it's like, hey, this is happening. I don't care. Turn on the fog. They weren't. We're checking. How readily available were you to say, I've got Crime Watch, and now what? What verifies it for you?
With this case, I was pretty quick to discount it. Once you start getting the KSTPs, the Fox 9s, those, local Minnesota outlets reporting, then I'm kind of like, okay, this is confirmed. So
Okay.
take it with a grain of salt. I mean, a lot of times it's with the Minnesota Crime Watch, it's them scanning police scanners. So that's how
Yeah.
they're able to get that information right away, is they're listening in, they hear something and they, send it out. So take it with a grain of salt, but
Well, grain of salt, but okay. Maybe you know, maybe you don't. Doesn't Channel 9 have a guy following the police scanner? Wouldn't 9 say, well, there's
But
one.
then they internally have their own set of journalistic standards, and they're reaching out to the police department, waiting for confirmation, and then they'll publish it. Or, there's some sort of like behind the scenes mechanism that they're using before they're pushing out information. They're confirming what they're hearing. So,
Yeah, okay. I just, I mean, I know that they want to get the story right. You sure don't want to throw it out there and then say, oh, we're wrong. But if they've got it on the scanner, and I presume once they realized, the second shooting was going to happen or what, and cops were flying everywhere, I can't imagine what the police scanners were like in each and every city going down, that 9, or I know, rip on Channel 9. Well, I've got 3 different police scanners saying, this is what's going on. I don't know if that counts or not journalistically. What are your thoughts on, as that day progressed? And I'll share the story because 2 of them have on the air. Senator Howe mentioned that the cops came to his door that morning, right? Ran up, knocked on the door. Hey, John, and they told him what had happened. And he literally gets chills. He said, I just walked up and opened the door because the cop said, I'm here to talk with you.
Senator Abler said the same thing. I think when he spoke with the Star Tribune, he's like, I just answered the door at 3 a.m. It's the cops. Like, what are you supposed to do? He's like, now I'm realizing I should have been a little more leery about the whole thing.
A little more. I mean, this changes security, I suppose. What happens with security at the Capitol?
And that's
I don't want to overreact, but
conversation has transformed into is, what's next? No one's really coming out and saying, well, I want to ban guns at the Capitol. I mean, it's a pretty quiet moment.
Yeah.
We're still kind of just processing. But I mean, 2 days after all this happened, you have Representative Erin Kogel, who had pizzas delivered to her house, like a number of pizzas on the hour, every hour for, the whole evening. And so she,
you guys have a name for that too. There's some twatting, that was
twatting.
It. And then there's doxing, and you guys got crap for everything. Just leave us alone.
Yeah.
But you've got to at some point, how do I put it? We need to know who they are and where they live. They are representatives, but we've got to somehow humanize them enough that we understand that, I've used this already.
Yeah.
I didn't know Hortman raised dogs, service dogs. And the only reason she's got her service dog is because the darn dog was so friendly he wouldn't
failed.
take it. He failed friendly, he's too friendly.
Yeah.
So she adopts the thing. We should have known that about her. I mean, know everything else about everything went for the last 6 months with overtime.
More good news.
Well, good news, or just, truthful. John Hoffman comes on all the time. He's a cigar smoker, loves music. We get it. We can't stop talking about it. I think he's good at it. I think Senator Housley, who comes on, is very good at, I just spent hours talking about the old time Bachelorette. Like, she was all on it, Golden Bachelor. So she does it. But most of them do radio or TV or whatever. And here's my answer to this question. And it's almost robotic. And I think they have to stop. I think journalists have to find a way of saying, yep, he believes X on this thing, but you know what? He also rides motorcycles. I don't know. We got to find a way.
That's the beauty of your show. I mean, you're doing your part in making sure that these folks are humanized, that people see the other sides of them. Oh yeah, they binge Netflix shows just like I do. That's got to be more widespread. That has to be consumed a lot more often. But the reality is we're humans. We kind of like the chaos. We like the buzz of what's look what's going on over there. It makes us feel better about what's going on in our lives. And so, unfortunately, this is just kind of the current moment we're living in. We're seeing political violence on the rise. There's a bunch of studies that are now coming out from past years showing that I think 40% of state lawmakers in 2023 said that they were threatened with violence in the last 3 years. I mean, this is insane.
It is crazy. We got to go. I got to imagine by next week we'll actually have news other than this to talk about. But I appreciate you being on, Megan. I really do.
Yeah. We'll be back next week. Hopefully there'll be, other things dominating the airwaves. Hopefully some good news. So be sure to tune in next week for Megan's News and Review on the Al Travis Show.